Hi, it's Dani again. Welcome to the fourth video in our home buyer series. In this video, I'm going to be talking to you about the things that you need to consider before you commit to buying a home in 2023. Buying a home is a big decision no matter when you do it, and there is a lot of different things and steps that you need to take before you pull the trigger and start house hunting. So let's dive into what you need to know and what you need to consider. Let's talk about budget. When you start house shopping, you need to make sure that you are taking into consideration not only the purchase price of the house, and if you have a mortgage on that property, you will pay principal and interest to the bank, but you also have property taxes. You may have additional costs in the form of a homeowners association, and you are going to have homeowners insurance. So those are all things that you need to consider as you start house shopping. So my recommendation would be, when you start looking in a particular area, ask the real estate agent what the tax base looks like, or you can go to the county assessor's office and pull that information up. But as you view homes, ask the real estate professional what the taxes are, if there's any additional taxes. Some states like California have what's called Melrose, your property taxes, your HOA, homeowners association. Some properties and subdivisions have 2 HOAs, or I've even seen 3 HOAs, and all of those had fees attached. So keep that in mind, because you are going to need to know that so that you know what your monthly expenses are going to be. So these are all factors to consider before you fall in love with a house. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to set up a budget and figure out, how much house can I afford? And when you go to the bank to get your pre-approval letter, they will give you a pre-approval for the maximum amount. And let's just use $1 million as an example. Maybe you're not comfortable spending a dime more than $600,000, so you now know that $600,000 is your budget. Just because you have a pre-approval for 400 grand more doesn't mean that you can afford that, all right? Now, why do I say that? Why is a bank issuing a pre-approval for more than you think you can afford? Because a bank doesn't take into consideration anything that's not on your credit report. So they're not accounting for groceries, electric bills, gas bills, trash if it's not included in your taxes. Let's see, what else? Cell phone bills, private school tuition, whatever the case may be. If it's not on your credit report, the bank is not taking it into consideration. So that's why I'm giving you this advice up front. So now that you know that $600,000 is your comfort level, you can start to shop for a property in that price range. However, keep in mind that there are additional expenses that attach to each property. So what do I mean by that? Those additional expenses are property taxes, homeowners associations. Sometimes there's more than one HOA within a community. Homeowners insurance, right? So those are all additional things that you need to pay on a regular basis that will become part of your budget. Now let's talk about location. You've heard the saying, location, and location is extremely important. You want to live in the country. You don't want neighbors. You want a big plot of land. You can plop your house in the middle of it and you don't have to worry about seeing anybody. You've got peace and quiet. But if that's a situation, you probably don't have very many amenities around you. Now, if you live more in the city or suburban, you might live in a community and you are probably a lot closer to different amenities like restaurants, golf courses, things like that. So those are all things that you want to consider. In addition to that, if you have children or plan on having children, schools should be a big consideration. Schools are a big consideration for many people. And so you want to do research and ask about schools in the particular area that you're house shopping in. Your considerations would be traffic. How long does it take you to get to work? Maybe you want to be closer to your church, your school. The kids are super active. You want to be closer to the activities so you're not sitting in the car and sitting in traffic. So just all things that you should take into consideration as you hone in on a particular area. The next thing is going to be inspections. So not only do you have the cost of the inspection, but one of the things you need to keep in mind is that you need to get an inspection whether you just built a brand new house or you're buying an existing house, because houses are built by humans and humans make mistakes. However, the point of this is that if you're buying an existing home and you have an inspection done, and now you have a list of things that aren't critical, but things that should be taken care of in the future, well, there's a price tag associated with that. And do you have the money to do those repairs or those renovations? How much money do you have to do that? So just all things to keep in mind. Let's talk about resale value. You're like, Dani, I'm just now buying my first house. Why would I be thinking about selling it? Well, things happen. People change their mind. And so maybe you're buying a house in 2023 as a starter home and you only plan on living there for 5 years. Or maybe you're planning on this being your one and only home, and then in 5 years you change your mind and decide that you want to upgrade, move to a different area, relocate for your job. Whatever the case may be, you want to make sure that your house has good resale value. So how do you know if that's going to be the scenario in your particular situation? One of the things that you can do is ask your real estate agent, do you think I'll have any issues selling this house in the future? Typically, houses that sit on the market longer are those that are in rural areas and ones that are super, super unique. So there's a saying, you never want to have the best house on the block because your resale value is probably not going to be as high as the other houses. Another example would be if you've ever seen like the octagon houses in very unique shapes. Resale value can definitely come into play with unique homes like that because they're going to sit on the market longer and you will likely have an issue selling something like that. So just keep that in mind. And the last thing to consider is your future needs. Maybe you just got married and you're planning on having a family in a couple years. So is that house big enough to accommodate a family? What about your parents that may live in another state? Do you have enough room for them to stay with you? Maybe you want to work out of your home. Do you have enough room for an office or whatever that scenario looks like for you? So just think about the home, think about what you need, what you think you need in the future, and then plan your house shopping around that. So there you have it, future homeowners. We talked about budget, location, inspections, resale value, and future plans. I hope that you found this video helpful. Click the button in the corner to click on the next video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so that you can get automatic updates when videos come out. And I hope you have a super day.